you do conspiracies, esoteric stuff, but you cover everything and interview everyone. And I know it's like almost cliche, but I saw a little while ago you had an interview with someone who is a genuine flat earth guy. And I think me and Kyle's position on flat earth, or maybe just me, is like it's an intentionally silly conspiracy theory. I think Kyle believes this too. He's nodding that like they'll bring up to like discredit, like, oh, you really think Epstein has a rape island? What's next? Flat earth? Like to try and lump that in. What was it like talking to a genuine guy? Or do you truly believe he was genuine in it?
So I find it absolutely fascinating to interview people with unusual, bizarre, or extreme viewpoints. And he was, you know, very energetic, very enthusiastic, very convinced that we are on a flat earth, despite, you know, all the pictures from space and the aircraft flying around and the rest
the math and the shadows. And so let me ask you this, because like
all the other round planets.
Yeah, my thought has always been that maybe there's like one or two nut jobs out there that, like, I don't know, got their math wrong or saw a shadow weird one night. But then like, but then like everyone else, I think that like we like to be the one in the room who's like, oh, you guys standing in line for the bakery? Oh, they don't open up today. No, see, today's Sunday. I'm the guy who knows. When in reality, you're the guy who Googles. And you might even there's some douchebags who'll sit there for an extra 5-10 minutes, even though they came for the bakery too. But now they get to tell everybody who shows up, it's closed. It's Sunday. What are you doing? I'm not here for bagels. I'm just correcting people in a hungry fashion. They want to be that guy. We all kind of want to be that guy, the guy who's like knows more, or is more well informed. We just handle that position differently than others.
And can I jump in? I think there's an inclination to believe the counter truth. It's a little attractive to everyone because it turns you into that guy. You know, if you think blood is red, and I'm like, no, blood's actually blue. It only turns red when it gets exposed to air.
Actually, Woody, that's an urban myth. It doesn't actually. It's not really blue.
Actually, Kyle, reverse card. What you said is the myth. What he said initially is the fact.
Well, it's fun to be that guy, and like you, not you, but some people might hear that and be like, ooh. Now I have the inside scoop. Yeah. I've got the knowledge that no one else has. The whole world is full of fools that think blood is red, but it only looks red when it touches air.
And it's just a weird hill to die on with that. Like you could be like, you know,
these are kind of blue.
I think it's one of the few hills.
No, I meant the flat Earth thing.
If you look at like standard archetypes, rather in literature and such, like. It's one of the big ones, you know, the guy who knows, who's trying to show the truth to the people. That's a big one. That's almost as classic as the standard hero archetype. Like how many movies do we have where like that one guy knows? There's a really good Mel Gibson movie where like I think it's called Conspiracy Theory. I think there's a Mel Gibson movie called that where like he's a conspiracy nut, but he stumbled upon the one that's real. And now like the actual government guys with the sunglasses and the cloaks and dagger shit are showing up and being like, we know you know. And he's like, I know you know. I've been waiting on you for 30 years. And they're like, you do, huh? Shit. Oh, well, how do we handle this? It's kind of weird because he's so well prepared for them because he's insane. It's a fun movie.
But it happens real popular right now on Netflix is Don't Look Up, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill.
Well, that's more about our culture being a bunch of ignoramuses, though.
Well, the nation seems to get divided. The world seems to get divided in two as to whether or not there's a comet coming, meteor. They're the same thing to me. About to hit the Earth, and like everyone who's educated understands that it's real. They can see it, but it's not until people can see it with their their naked eyes that.
I know we were making fun of the flat Earth thing. We went by it. What was? If you remember, Shaun, what was that guy's main thing? Like, I'm sure there was one argument that he kept coming back to, like the ice wall or something. Like, I'm curious, what was his main thing he kept trying to drive home to you?
So he mixed the flat Earth theory, whereby we're not a pancake, we're like a snow dome with a flat bottom, into simulation theory.
Okay.
So it got really technical.
And so he thinks that he thinks
so
flat Earth is a little too simple for this.
This guy. I like. No. I like him mixing it because it's the only way that you could ever be like, yes, it makes sense because it's a simulation.
Yes.
But why would they simulate it flat?
Well, I don't know, but maybe he had an answer.
Why would they make all the other planets round in the simulation? It doesn't make, you know what I mean? Like they would cover their tracks. They'd be like, "Oh fuck, we almost released this beta. All the other planets are round."
Well, maybe the other planets are, you know, like one of those little dioramas that kids have spinning around in their bedroom with shadows and lights when they're growing up. Like those are just Well, I mean, they appear round, but they're obviously two-dimensional on our walls. Maybe it's all just.
I thought you were talking about like a mobile you put over a.
Yeah, I've never been to space. Like you know that South Park episode. Was like, they're like, "This is like the third time I've been to space," and Cartman's like, "This is like my fifth." Like I've never actually been. I've never actually been.
That's wild. That is like, I feel like if you layer the like everything is digital matrixy on top of any conspiracy, then you could be like, okay, well, yeah, I guess they could have made that the world we're in. Like, you can't really disprove it any more than you could like disprove God putting us.
But I like it more. It's more palatable. It's like they put a nice sugar coating on the other thing because the other thing is so absurd.
More fun. Yeah.
The other thing is so absurd. It's bitter. That doesn't want to go down. But when you wrap it up on a little simulation theory, I'm like, oh, I like that one. That's a fun theory. I've heard smart people talk about that one.
How could you disprove a simulation theory? Like, if there was a way, someone would have done it by now, right? Or no?
When you're talking private about that after the show.
Oh, okay.
That everyone's an NPC except you.
That's solipsism.
Yeah, that's more of a mental illness.
Words to look smart, Taylor. That's bullshit. What did you say it was?
It's called solipsism. It's where you think that you are the only person who exists.
I'm gonna Google that.
Which would be like the funniest thing to debate. It's like in your mind, you're debating a subsection of your mind.
Or you're debating. Or it's sort of like the Truman Show, right? They believe that to some extent, some of them. Yeah. Like they believe that, you know, they're there for the entertainment or perhaps for some sort of testing purposes. Like they're part, everything is fake. You guys are NPCs. Me sitting here, I'm the only real person in this entire existence. It's sort of, and a lot of people don't think of it as a conspiracy theory, because it's a mental illness that they suffer from. It's a delusion that they actually.
Yeah, Zach just put it in there. It's like thinking that the self is all that can be known to exist. And it's like, okay, well, then if you draw the line at what can be known at your nose and yourself, then what is the point of discussing anything with you? Because like, if nothing else can be known, like.
It comes from Descartes, doesn't it? I think, therefore I am.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll admit it's a real word, but it's not spelled the way I thought it was.
No, it's one of those tricky fucking professor words where they making up in college.
I want to know how to spell it. Is it SOLEBSCISM?
SOLIP.
A lip.
Yeah, I had it right. It said I thought it was OP.
Okay, never mind then. Well, so did he try to convince you of the Earth's dome-like snowy nature? And if so, like, were you at all swayed at any point?
He did. He tried to convince me and my co-host Andrew that he was in fact correct, and we just kept throwing things at him. You know, like photographs from outer space, pilots' journeys around the Earth, things like that. Yeah. But he did keep coming back with fascinating, engaging, and colorful answers. And in the live stream that night, it was really hopping as well. I think the people really were entertained.
So in the end, you would say that he probably didn't, support his cases that well. If there'd been a court of law there, do you think they would have sided
from the guy's point of view? He did great, I'm sure.
Yeah, from his point of view, he did great. But going into it, I think most people knew the truth.
Yeah, of course. But my dream in that scenario is that you run into the best flat Earth supporter, the guy who really knows his flat Earth nonsense, and he can be just a little bit convincing. Like I'm not going to walk away from this ever convinced that there's a flat Earth unless you take me there, I suppose.
Yeah. What if he takes you there and you can't help but be convinced?
I have to go on one of those like movie style journeys where the boat just keeps getting closer and closer and everybody wants to turn back, but you're like, no, it can't be, and you fall off. I need that, I guess.
Unbridled enthusiasm takes me there, and he definitely had that.
That's fair. I like that. I like when someone is into what they believe in.
Everybody needs a hobby, and like Like what's this guy hurting? You know, like what is the consequence of him believing the Earth is flat? That you get hilarious conversations at like 4th of July parties with him. If that's the consequence, I'm inviting that guy to every party. Hey, John, tell me about everybody. Shut the fuck up, John. Tell me about Antarctica again. No, as much time as you need. Everybody shut the fuck up. Like that would be great. I want to be friends with that guy. That's a much more uplifting conspiracy guy than a guy who's just like, and another thing with the Jews. And it's like, oh man, we're trying to play Settlers of Catan here. Like I'm trying to trade my sheep for your wheat so I can activate my port. And you're trying to talk to me about Jewish stuff. I don't care. I just got to tell you, I don't care. Like,
I got to say, you're the